What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Fantasy Goats. I am your host, your shepherd. Tonight, we're going to get into the best NFL rookies, top offensive players in this upcoming draft, which is going to be a week from tonight. I am freaking
Go.
Woo! As you can tell, we are all excited, Goats. Yeah. We're going to get into the best players, 2 team fits, and then from there we will we'll attempt to give you a dynasty rookie draft grade. You know, we'll give you, I would say, an estimate, a predictive grade as to where these players should get drafted in your upcoming rookie drafts. Of course, everyone's roster as is going to be different, but I think we'll at least attempt to come to a consensus. So we're going to get into that. We also got a little bit of news if we have some time at the end. We'll get into Shedeur working out for the NY Giants, and then of course the news from today with a certain former New York quarterback Aaron Rodgers was on the Pat McAfee show throwing dirt all over his former team and, setting the record straight right now. But again, look, if we have time at the end of the show, it means that this show went too fast. And that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. So
Nope.
I doubt we even get to the Rodgers But I know I do want to touch base a little bit about Shedeur. We'll get to that at the end of these player to team fits. I want to remind everybody coming up in a week from tonight, just at about this time, we will be here live reacting to every pick of round 1. The coverage begins at 8 o'clock, and then on Friday, we'll be here again live reacting to every pick of round 2 and round 3. I am freaking psyched for this. As always, we are here live on our Fantasy Goats YouTube channel. Please give us a like, subscribe. We've got plenty of content for this draft, for the Dynasty season, and then all the way up until the season kickoffs. All right, so guys, I know we got into at least, I don't know, 40 to 50% of the top offensive players
Tuesday.
2 days ago, not last week, 2 days ago, which, by the way, you could go check that out on our channel. We did the best landing spots, but best player to team fit. Where did we left off? I want to say, no, are you sure? Yeah. We covered every running back?
Yeah.
No, we didn't cover every running back. I think we covered Hampton and Caleb, and I think we stopped just about there.
Did you guys do it by draft order, or you did it just by name?
Just
basically going off of the Beast draft guide. So kind of like in rankings, kind of sort of. And yeah, by name, we cover. I know we definitely covered the quarterbacks. We definitely got into the JX mentioned
running backs.
We definitely got into Ashton Genty, Omar and Hampton. Why don't we, for argument's sake, why don't AB? Why don't you give us your best player, Trevion Henderson in this case. And Quinshon Judkins, both backs out of Ohio State. Give us the best team fit. How do you see this playing out for them? What would be the best, the most optimal, landing spot for these guys?
So for Quinshon Judkins, optimal landing spot to me would be the Las Vegas Raiders. I think the obvious connection to Chip Kelly would be great. I think that the Raiders want to be a ground and pound kind of team and play defense because that's the style that Pete Carroll wants to rock with. So I think that like a heavier back like Quinshon Judkins would be great. Would be a great like kind of thumper for the Las Vegas Raiders. And then they have Dylan Lobb, who they can put in on third downs, and he's the pass catching specialist. So I think that they need a bruiser in that offense. I think he'd be a great fit for Trevion Henderson, I think my favorite fit for him would be the Denver Broncos. Like, I think that would be a spot where he would be with an offensive-minded head coach. He would be in a good offense for the most part. And I think that he would get plenty of opportunities to play the Alvin Kamara role because he's more of the guy with the burst. He has like the agility, the short area quickness, and he also has like really good long speed. I saw Quinshon Judkins get hawked. Like somebody caught him at the 1 on a breakaway run once, and I was like, I know he's fast, but I don't think he's like blazing fast. But I know Trevion Henderson. I've seen him do it plenty of times.
Yeah.
So like I think he'd be the home run hitter in that Denver offense.
That's fair. Good assessment. Rhino or JX Money. Where do you see these two going? And we may have touched up on it again this past Tuesday, but again, just to make sure that we're on the record, both of these running backs. I mean, one of them is going to, or maybe both of them. Are they round 1? Rookie draft picks, dynasty rookie picks? I mean, or could we see could one of them fall?
I think Henderson is, but I don't think Junkins is.
You don't think Junkins is?
Ooh, why not?
Why not?
Yeah,
because teams will. If it's a 12-team thing, then you figure the 2 quarterbacks,
Super flex.
2 tight ends probably, and handful of wide receivers. So he might be at the tail end of round 1. If not, he'll be on the turnaround. Very, very big.
So I've never played Dynasty before. Like I've never like done a Dynasty draft or anything like that. So do you think that
you've come to the right
because
channel?
of how what?
You've come to the right place.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Do you think that because of how people are saying that like running backs are undervalued, that will push the running backs down in rookie drafts?
No.
Mm-mm.
No. Okay, let's say let's say like my team, I have Kyron Williams and Breece Hall, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I have Najee Harris and Brandon Allen on my bench. So with that, I would wait on Junkins. I'd go for a higher graded running back at the tail end of my draft.
I think for Junkins,
Okay.
I think for Junkins though, it's more about where he lands, right? I mean, if he goes to Los Angeles, me and the Chargers, we're scared of what his volume could be. So that's where he becomes a 2nd-round pick. But if he's drafted by like the Cowboys, we know the least the volume is going to be there. So he'll be a 1st-round lock. So for him specifically, he is definitely a team fit for me to be. Oh, okay, he's a 1st-round pick.
Yeah. Where do you think one of the best landing spot is for him, Jax?
I do think it's the Los Angeles Chargers. They have that running style, and I'm not sold on Najee. I'm not. I believe that they'll, see how it goes and get Quinshon or someone like that to kind of fill that role if it doesn't work for Najee that first year, and then they'll move on with him in the future.
Yeah, I think they have no problems whatsoever having Najee Harris in some sort of committee role, some sort of committee job, and they expect Najee to excel in that capacity as well, and he most likely will. I mean, he's going to have a solid offensive line. He's been Mr. Consistency, durability. I mean, so he should. I mean, like, look, I don't think that they expect him to have a full workload, a bell cow type of workload. No, I think he'll be in some sort of. I don't even want to put a number on it, and to even further enhance. Back to Randy's question regarding the running back value. I kind of feel like we've kind of like that narrative that has, to steal a word from you pre-show, is kind of like recalibrated, has it not? Like the running back value now is kind of like taking or is gaining a little bit more of a momentum for what it used to be traditionally, where the running back value was leaned on heavy, the bell cow, the lead back, the feature back. So I think from a fantasy perspective, a dynasty perspective, again, knowing your roster and the roster construction is very important, obviously. But I think we would want to have our shares, our stock into that position again for sure.
Especially because of this draft, this rookie draft.
And especially for dynasty, we're going to get to some of these names right now, where they may not pop off until mid to late this season, or may take an injury for them to get thrusted early into their role, or again, we may not see them fully productive until perhaps next season. But yeah, back to that point, Rhino. This is supposedly an exceptionally talented running back class, and we're banking on those scouts that know what they're doing. Why don't we get to Mr. Dylan Sampson? This is a running back out of Tennessee.
Yep.
Come early declare. What do we like for him, Dylan Sampson? Now again, keep in mind now we've already hit Ashton Genty, we've already hit the Marion Hamptons and the last two that we just spoke of, Caleb Johnson. So again, Dylan Sampson, best landing spot.
I think the Patriots would be a good spot.
I call him Dylan Smooth Operator Sampson.
The smooth operator.
So smooth. He runs so effortless.
He's smooth like you.
I love the way he runs. Like, he looks like he's gliding when he runs. Oh, thank you.
New England Patriots. I don't think that they are fully married to Ramondre Stevenson, so that would be a fine fit.
Yeah, plus he gives receiving upside too. So if they want to do a 1-2 punch, then have Ramondre Stevenson do the bruiser back, and have Stevenson and Dylan Sampson do the receiving for right now.
Dylan Sampson's so weird to me because he's known as a smaller guy, but I've seen him take volume.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of a spot where he could probably start off as a spell guy and then kind of work his way in. I'm thinking I probably like him for Cleveland. I know they kind of feel the same, but I feel like Dylan is a little bit more complete of a back than Jerome Ford. Even though he is smaller, I've seen Dylan work through the tackles in between the guards quite a bit, and like you said, he's really smooth, man. I would love to see him up there in Cleveland.
The Commanders too. Commanders might be a good spot too.
Commanders are definitely in the running back business.
Solid landing spot. Yep, they gotta be.
Let's just take a look at some of Dylan Sampson. He plays fast, displays electricity, can turn the corner and race down the sideline with a natural feel for following pullers on counters and runs. Will press zone runs before using light feet to shape laterally, accelerates into second level contact. I mean, there's a lot to like here.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, no, he's another just really good back. This class is so loaded. Yeah.
And like you were saying, got to think about the teams that have running backs are on their contract year too, that he might be drafted to seamlessly go into,
Mm-hmm. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. All right. Dynasty round 2.
No,
yeah, middle. Yeah. Round 2.
Yeah, I would say yeah, mid to late round 2. He's not in that upper echelon of the dynasty.
I was gonna say I think you could probably get him at you could probably get him at a discount, because I don't think he's he's a name that I think a lot of people know, but I don't think he's part of like the household guys. Like, I don't think he's part of like the top 5 or 6 that everybody's talking about. So you definitely might be able to get a steal.
Here's the thing, and Rhino and Jags could attest to this, that okay, so if you're gonna pass on him in round 2, the chances of a manager being able to get him in round 3 would take probably maneuvering in a trade, much like any other draft for that matter. So I think if Dylan Sampson is your flavor, right? And by all means, and you might as well just like go ahead, snatch him, put him on roster. Unless you really know your league mates and you really think he's going to fall, make it back to you in the next round, then you may just have to go get him in the second.
And then the thing too, if you think about it, because this class is so deep that you might not have to reach. You might have to maneuver and just wait for because there's a next guy. There is a next guy
that's the other
same thing. So you can stay put and not lose draft capital.
That's the other thing, right? I mean, it's shit. If this class is loaded and talented, then you know what? You might as well have a handful of dudes. Right? I mean, who's to say? Like again, roster. Knowing your roster is going to play a lot into this. If you're absolutely loaded, like a running back roster that you have, Rhino. I mean, if you've got the name Commissioner, you better have a good freaking roster in fantasy. You may want to go and get one of these promising wide receivers, which we're going to get to in just a few moments. I want to get to Mr. R.J. Harvey out of the University of Central Florida.
My guy. Absolutely love R.J. Harvey.
Goes deep, bro.
I mean,
that's it.
One thing I was going to say, right?
R.J., baby.
You were talking about there's the next one, right? You said there's a next running back, but I also will say there's going to be times, myself included, I'll be greedy. I'm going to be reaching on certain guys, and R.J. Harvey's one.
Yeah.
Super explosive, take it to the house, great contact balance. One thing that I think works in his favor, because he's going to have to see the field immediately, is because he's 24 years old. I know people look at that as a negative, but if a team is drafting him, they're drafting him to play. So he's going to play as soon as he touches the field.
Right away.
That's a great point. So
like the Rams, they'll generally draft older.
Yeah,
people.
Exactly. So with them guys being older, 24, he's going to play.
Keeping with that theme, what team absolutely is ready to put him in week 1? Let's go. Giddy up.
Yeah, and my fit for him is the Commanders. I would love for him in the Commanders because if he's not going to take the lead role, he could definitely take Austin Eckler's spot there.
Yeah.
Opposed to Brian Robinson. But I mean, this dude he looks like a star in my opinion. I don't think you can miss with R.J. Harvey.
I don't think so either.
The funniest landing spot for R.J. Harvey would be the Miami Dolphins.
No, please don't do that to him.
That'd be chaotic. that would be chaotic.
Don't do that to R.J.
No, don't do that. Any of
the stockpile fast guys.
They're probably going to draft somebody, right?
I mean, one of them is going to end up in Miami. I think Miami's going to draft a running back.
Yeah, they might draft somebody like Jaden Blue, though, because he's fast.
Probably.
That makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if they're drafting a running back in Miami, it's really going to be one of the absolute dart throws or something like that. Because, the capital they got down there is already pretty high.
I like the Commanders.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think Brian Robinson.
Yeah, Commanders is a good spot.
What about the Bears?
Bears, too.
If they don't spend up on it. Again, the thing with the Bears is they're more or less they're playing like they've got luxury capital right now. They've pretty much solidified much of their actual roster from the last few drafts, including this offseason. I mean if they don't spend that luxury pick on a running back high, maybe in round RJ Harvey may be a round 2 guy, right? He could be if they really love him.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if someone fell in love with him.
Yeah, and the Bears have 2 second-round picks, so it's possible they do some maneuvering and they could slide back a little bit and possibly still get him in the 50s.
And
so that's possible.
And how sold do you think they are on Swift and Rashawn Johnson? They might double dip and just reset.
I don't think Ben Johnson likes DeAndre Swift.
No.
Well, no, because he had him before.
Exactly. He had him in Detroit, and shipped him away. That's why, I don't think Ben Johnson likes DeAndre Swift. I like Roshan, though.
They may That's what I'm about to say. They may give Roshan a better opportunity, or at least maybe the same opportunity that he was afforded last season. But DeAndre Swift,
unless Chicago takes a back at 9, unless they take a back at 9, I think that Roshan is probably the back to own in that next year.
Yeah, because I think he'll fit in the Montgomery role.
Yeah.
On that team.
All right. Let's take on one more dude.
And by the way, JX, my rule of thumb when it comes to like reaching on players, right? If you believe in a guy and he hits, it's never a reach.
No, exactly.
Yeah. Then you look like a genius.
Exactly.
If he doesn't hit, you reached and you look like and you fired.
Exactly. Like last year, I in one of my leagues.
Go ahead.
In one of my leagues, I bet one of the guys like a draft pick. So I got an extra third rounder from him. And the way that we do the swap is my last pick in the last round. He picks who I draft, so I can swap that player for that person. The person that he chose to draft was Jordan Mason.
Oh wow!
Incredible! Wow. Incredible! All the way in the last round. I was like, "You lucky son of a gun!"
Your name is Randy. That's why. What team is?
I mean, the third round pick that I got for him. The third round pick that I got from him was Mike Evans, so it ended up working out.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you say the name there, C? Did you say the name?
I said it.
From Scat Pack?
Yeah. That guy.
That guy.
Oh, Cam Scatterboo.
Another easy fit for me. Pittsburgh Steeler all day. I don't want him to go anywhere else. If he's not a Steeler, then he should go undrafted, and he'll be a Steeler that way. He is. They what do they call him? They call him the short bus. They'll call him the little bus. They call him whatever you want to call him. But that is Jerome Bettis Jr. If I've ever seen it. Make him a Steeler. Don't do it wrong.
Not fast, but powerful.
Exactly.
But yes, he has pass catching, and Jerome Bettis really didn't have the pass catching ability. He could, but not the extent as Scatterboo does.
He's got the three potential for sure. He's got that. So if he's got 3 down potential, that means that he could pass pro, which is critical.
Yeah, too.
And I think one of the knocks would be that, because he's a power runner, he's he's looking to hit rather than be hit. I don't know how that plays out against 26-year-old linebackers and linemen, but what would be so then the other and Pittsburgh, and don't get me wrong, Pittsburgh is a pretty solid fit. I mean, and I'm sure he's going to catch on to one of these teams that is going to deem him perfect DNA for that organization. The only thing it might take Saturday, day 3, for him to be selected because he's coming in with questionable attitude. I don't know if you guys heard that.
I haven't seen that.
Really attitude.
This is the season. This is the season. All of a sudden, something came out that Abdul Carter had freaking
questionable attitude.
Yeah, and this is the time. This gonna be full of bullshit next week of that kind of crap.
Absolutely. But my thing is though, you have a guy who tries to run into defenders like he's trying to get into a car crash every single play. I would assume that he has some attitude. I would assume that he's not some nice guy.
Well,
telling me
he's a confident dude. He said that he's the best running back in college football.
I mean, he was talking all that smack. He was talking all that smack before they played Texas, and he almost beat them single-handedly.
Yes,
so I'll take a guy. Who has attitude but can ball any day of the week.
And I think that his listed strengths here will certainly outweigh any bullshit pre-draft smoke or even some of the the weaknesses that we actually do see on film, or that we do see play out like in box scores, so to speak. You know, he's a shorter strider, average burst, lack of immediate juice, impatient pressing line of scrimmage. So, I mean, look, no one of these prospects has a clean sheet
There's
here.
flags on every damn prospect.
No, this is legit. It's not a matter of finding. This is legit stuff. That every prospect goes into, you know, their careers with. It's just a matter of, okay, look at all the great stuff that he can do, that he does do.
Dude runs like a freight train, man.
Yeah, and that's
everybody has flaws.
We're gonna pretty much. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're not playing Chutes and Ladders in Candyland here.
Right.
It's a grown man's game.
I got a quick question for Rookie Fit Randy and JX.
Okay.
All right. I'll leave this because I'll see how this one. So with the Colts, they're gonna need a running back too. Who do you think for your team? And then for JX, the Rams, we need a home run hitter. Who do you think Rams might draft for them?
I like how you're thinking. Not with the latter part of that, but with the first part.
So personally, I don't think
you just gave me flowers and took them away, man.
No,
personally,
JT needs a legitimate like RB2 there.
They do.
We have a legitimate RB2.
Are you talking about Trey Sermon?
I'm not counting you.
No, Khalil Herbert.
Oh, y'all drafted? Okay, Khalil Herbert. Okay.
Yeah, we signed Khalil Herbert. We do. So this is what I was gonna say, right? So I think that we do need another body in the running back room. I agree with that, but I do think that Khalil Herbert is going to be our RB2, much like Zach Moss was when he was filling in for JT, and then when JT came back, Moss became the RB2. So because of that, I don't think that we'll really focus in the early rounds on getting a running back, but we do still need like a pass catching specialist. Like we do need a back where like what they do the best is pass catching, because we can't really put JT in on third downs. He's not that strong of a pass blocker, nor is he that strong of a pass catcher either. So I could see us going for like you were saying earlier, like a Jadon Blue as a late round flyer. I can see us getting like what's this guy's name? Yeah, Woody Marks, a guy like that, or the guy from that played for what's that team? They have a horse on their helmet.
Oh my goodness! That's where I was going.
Yeah, Brashard Smith. There you go. Yeah. We can get a guy like that, like in a later round, a guy that can give us some special teams like versatility. We can put him on kick return, punt return, stuff like that. I think that's where we would go.
Do returns too, because he was converted receiver to running back. Yeah,
converted receiver to running back. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I was going. Just really quick here. I was going with Brashard Smith just because he's a Swiss Army knife. He's versatile. The Rams don't necessarily need a running back, but we want a running back. So
need a home run hitter.
Yeah, so he's someone that can play out wide if needed. He can play in the backfield, returns. He'll do a little bit of everything for you.
You give him some gadget plays.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my God! Imagine Puka on one side, Brashard Smith on the other, and like one of them motions and like they meet at some type of mesh point. Who do you guard?
I already did it in Madden. Is cheating.
Yeah. Who do you guard?
Rhino, do we have some draft grades for these guys? Dynasty rookie draft grades.
For Brashard Smith and Marks, or
no?
I would say Smith is a B.
Keep him in the third.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like Brown?
I think third is fair.
I think they're going to be in the third.
Mark's probably be in a fourth.
Yeah.
And this will be the final note that I leave everybody with when it comes to the rookie running backs. When it comes to Marks, the last time we covered Woody Marks, I got a message from YouTube that it was flagged for the word Woody.
Okay, Jaquarius Marks then. All right.
Oh, that is hilarious.
That's crazy.
So does that mean you'd get flagged if you talked about the woodpecker?
The goats are still going to be here, though. We will not go away. We are fine.
Or Toy Story.
Right? Yeah.
Can we not get this video flagged?
It's not one of those official flags.
But at least we're not saying it.
I know.
Guys, let's hit the wide receivers. We've got at least. I want to attempt to take on at least 10 of these dudes.
Oh, okay, we gotta go pretty quick here.
At least 10 of these dudes, not counting Travis Hunter, for obvious reasons. We pretty much know where his team fit is, where he's going to be drafted.
Yeah.
It's going to be the Browns, Giants, or a team that would get up and trade with one of those two teams. So he's going to be the second player most likely off the board. B, obvious reason, we're not 100% sure how much wide receiver he's going to play. I mean, like we all believe that we all believe he's going to be on the field both sides of the ball. It's just a question of how much.
Right.
Did we see the news today? The news where Andrew Berry said that if on the Browns they believe that he is a wide receiver with a second position as a corner. So
I mean the Shohei Ohtani of football.
I don't. Again, we've had this conversation, right? And
I don't buy it.
Yeah, it's just to me, it's like, okay, again, there's like logistics here. Like, how are you going to be in two places at once to be able to be or play that amount of snaps on both sides of the ball? It makes more sense to be able to do DB more often and then be able to take on a certain amount of routes or a certain amount of packages. So that's, again, we've already spent too much time on Travis Hunter. Unless he comes out on Thursday night or Friday, I'm a full-time wide receiver, then we would put, he's probably a round one.
Oh yeah,
a dynasty rookie.
Gotta be.
Yeah, within the first 3 picks, I would think.
Okay, so
especially if you have points in your draft for like IDP.
Well,
yeah.
And we talked about that too. Yeah,
it's the other.
He's gonna be a steal.
And again, it goes the other way around. If you're in an IDP league, that's getting the majority and the brunt of your scoring coming out of whatever you're getting for like an interception or whatever you're getting for a tackle. I'm not even sure where his value, where that type of player gets taken in a draft like that. So again, I think it would be like a kind of, I don't want to say pointless, but kind of pointless conversation to at least. We already know what lies ahead. We have to wait and see. And see. Right now, it's like he's 50-50. He's playing both. And if that's the case, right? AB, if that's the case, if he's going into camp as playing both, I'm not even sure where we would go about drafting him in a rookie startup. I think he would wind up falling into somewhere in a later round of your startup or your rookie draft. And you're taking a flyer on his offensive production, someone that you're really not going to be able to count on much to begin with.
So I get that. Yeah, like out of the the possibilities. Yeah, I get that. It could kind of be, kind of shoot you in the foot. It could be like Taysom Hill, where like you plug him in one week and he gives you 35, and you plug him in the next week and he gives you 4, because he's not really at one solid position. He's doing a whole bunch of different things. So like, I get how that can backfire. I personally think that the Browns are going to go Abdul Carter at 2, and then Travis Hunter is going to end up on the Patriots. That's what I think. And I think that if that ends up happening, because of the fact that the Patriots don't really have a wide receiver 1, I think he would see a lot more volume as a wide receiver on the Patriots. because they don't have a wide receiver one. They have Stephon Diggs. I get that. But
Right.
I think that, he's coming off an injury. Exactly. So I think Hunter would be a wide receiver one, day one. And he wouldn't have to be your cornerback one, day one. He could be somebody that you bring in on sub packages. He could be somebody you bring in dime and nickel. Like, he could be somebody who you have like special, like, situational place for on defense, where like you put him out there and you tell him like, hey, this week you're covering Garrett Wilson because he's moving to the slot. So you're going to stick with Garrett Wilson. You're going to follow him. Or like, you're going with Khalil Shakir this week, or you're going with Keon Coleman this week. Like, I think that is the way that they would use him, because they don't need him to step in at cornerback day one, but they definitely need him at wide receiver day one, though.
That's the other thing. Browns have DBs. So
exactly, right.
So they may, although Abdul Carter's not the wrong pick, that can't be a bad, but that's not a wrong pick. But like, okay, perhaps we should take Andrew Berry for what he's saying to us, like whatever his coach speak index score is, how reliable is the information that he's telling us. He may damn well play wide receiver the majority of the time. We're not going to have a good sense or handle on that until like week 5. Let's move, gentlemen. Let's get to Tetaroa McMillan. We believe he's the true wide receiver one off the board. Where is he playing?
Is he? What question? Is he Samoan? Do you guys know?
Hawaiian.
Yeah.
Hawaiian. Okay.
Hawaiian,
good. Yeah.
That might be Samoan. I don't know. It's
I think it's separate, but if he, well, Polynesian, I think that's probably the better classification.
Polynesian, Hawaiian for sure.
Samoan.
I love those guys.
Volleyball player, basketball player, 6'4" and
214,
6'4". Yep.
Lord,
where's he? Where's he being drafted? Give me the best landing spot.
Panthers.
JX Panthers.
Yeah.
The best landing spot for me. The best landing spot for me, because I'm tired of seeing this right here. Yeah. So Green Bay, 17% target percentage, 18.6 target percentage, 14.2 target percentage. That tells me you don't have a wide receiver one.
Nope.
I'd love to see him in Green Bay.
They don't have a wide receiver one. That's first things first. Number 2, the Pack are going to have to make a huge move.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard his name enough. The Brian Gutekunst, he's definitely going to trade up.
He's not going to fall to them.
No.
There's two things. There's two things that work against that. Is that one, Goody is definitely not going to trade up. They don't normally like jump up like that. And 2, they don't draft wide receivers in the first round. So like that's another thing too. Like, they would much rather trade for one or like draft one in the second round and hope they develop, rather than draft the first round wide receiver.
I hear you, but a top 30 visit, a private workout, Gutekunst might do something different, man. He's really locked in on Tetaroa McMillan.
Yeah, but you also got to remember that, like, when they do these visits, it's not just for the draft. It's like for a potential, like, down the line, maybe there's some contract dispute between him and whatever team that drafts him, and then the Packers are like, we had him for a top 30 visit. We really like this guy and everything that he has to offer. We've seen him in the league for a couple of years now. And the private visit, So like, we've seen him for a couple of years now, and we want to try to make a trade for him. I think that's more likely than them drafting him. Hey, it happens all the time.
Well, both things can be true. Well, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, we know we know that they need an alpha dog wide receiver one. They also could, they also can just be doing a lot of this due diligence homework. They want to get to know the kid, meet the kid. They may do it. They may make the splash. They are in their hometown. They're home, for Christ, not their hometown. Yeah. They are home hosting this bad boy in 1 week from tonight. Goats, we will be live. The coverage begins 6:45, 6:50 as the draft starts at 7 o'clock for round 1. The following night, Friday, round 2 and 3. We will react to every pick. Give us a like. Please subscribe. Thank you.
Let me say this too. Two other teams that would be a good fit for him that are need of wide receiver ones is the Raiders and the Patriots.
There's a lot of teams. Well,
Yeah.
actually, I shouldn't say that. There are a lot of teams. Yeah, I mean, the Raiders.
I like the Raiders fit.
I think the Raiders are a good fit because Jacoby Myers, while being a good, reliable wide receiver for his career so far, I wouldn't necessarily classify him as some sort of alpha wide receiver one dog. He's been a pretty good wide receiver in this league.
Yeah.
Great number 2 though.
Yeah, great number 2.
So okay, right. So what we're doing right now is we think that Ted is
great number 2 option.
We think Ted is going to land on a team where he would be like a 1B almost.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't not necessarily a wide receiver 2 like some of these other guys are going to probably start out, if not start. Period. But yeah, I think Ted playing opposite Jacoby Myers wouldn't not necessarily be a bad fit. That's the other thing, by the way. And again, there's no point of speculating on it because we're predicting and we're just examining right now. But if that were to come to fruition, then we would have to adjust target shares accordingly. And it's Geno we're not a fan of. That's another issue. Nevertheless, it's not a bad fit. What was the other name? What was the other team?
Patriots.
Oh, yeah.
Patriots at 4. And I don't think they would. I think that they would, quote unquote, they may reach for it a little bit, but if they are convinced,
one team.
What happened?
One team that I think would be very interesting if Tet were to somehow fall, because you just never know.
Oh, we lost you.
Oh no.
The audio. When we're trying to get fire out of mock draft.
My guess would be the Cowboys.
Maybe Jackson. Well, what about Jacksonville? Again, they've got a high pick
over here.
They've got a high pick. We think that they're going to take one of the either Mason Graham or the other dude.
Who, the Jags?
Yeah, they may want another dude opposite Brian Thomas for Liam Cohn to just be so offensive and not really. It's not necessarily what they need, but it's it's how they may deem the value of getting another wide receiver to give Trevor Lawrence as many options, many weapons as possible.
Yeah.
Same reason why we're hearing a little bit of Ashton Genty over there also. And they're completely ready to wash their hands with ETN, and Tank Bigsby at that point never had a shot. But again, I don't think that's going to be the case. Let's stick with the wide receivers. We know that Ted is round 1 for your rookie draft. That's the end of it. That's the end of it. And he's damn near. He could go as your 1.01. He most likely is a 1.02 or 1.03.
Yeah, he can go anywhere between the 101 to like the 106.
It's going to be very dependent on the manager and the team that needs to take care more.
Yeah.
That's how I would parse that.
Real quick, fun spot that I think that would be great if he fell to, like if he kind of slipped, would be the Niners.
I've heard a little bit.
That would be insane. Hey man,
he wouldn't slip. That's number 1. They would Number 2, there is a little bit of chatter via CBS Sports that the Niners may not be set at wide receiver. They may wind up going and drafting one. How high they do that, or what caliber or talent level they go for remains to be seen. Last year we were all very surprised when they went for Ricky Pearsall.
Yeah, no kidding.
We were very surprised. We were very surprised by that. So, I mean, let's not exactly close the door that they may do something similar.
And they have a lot of draft capital, so they could move up. I mean, I heard one thing float around that trade CMC and their pick for the number 6 pick.
So they can get Ashton Genty?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. That would be electric. That would be electric. One of the guys in my home league said that he's drafting Ashton Genty no matter where he goes in the first round. I was like, all right, make that declaration if you want to, but then he ends up in the committee and then you're screwed as out of your first round pick.
Yep. All right, next receiver. See, sorry.
You know who it is. Matthew Golden.
Matthew Golden.
Mock draft Matthew.
Matthew
Golden.
Golden.
Him opposite CD Lamb would be dynamite.
Yeah.
Where else?
Would be solid.
There are 31 other teams.
I mean, him in Jacksonville would be great. They don't have Christian Kirk anymore. Him in Cleveland would be good. Him on the Packers would be amazing.
Seattle would be good.
Seattle would be good.
See, JX, that's why I think the Packers would forego Tech, because then they could just stay where they are and probably go and get someone like Matthew Golden if they like Matthew Golden, or if they really love, if they love Mbuka. I mean, that would be a little early at that pick. But so, I mean, again, we know the Packers need a wide receiver, and we know a lot of these teams need to fill voids at their wide receiver 2 spot. So yeah, a lot of we know that the Cowboys don't have nothing opposite CeeDee Lamb. They have nobody.
The thing is, though, I just think the Packers are tired of drafting wide receiver 2s. I think if they don't go get Ted, like if they can't find a way to get Ted, I think they probably just ride what they have.
They got no. You're right. There's a blueprint. All they need to do is just look back and see like where they've had the most success. It's having like a really prolific wide receiver 1. Let's not forget, you had a prolific quarterback for half a century between the two. Yeah, Jordan Love could be that guy also. Let's not forget. But Matthew Golden. Are we so sure that Arizona's not going to select a wide receiver? Are we so sure that the Seahawks are done?
I think they will, but I don't think they'll do it that early because they have more pressing needs.
We're not talking about, but we're not necessarily talking that much about early, right? Matthew Golden now, he may be a round 1. He may, but he may not be
a round 1 draft.
Yeah, it's just team they can go to in general.
Yeah, I think he doesn't. Like my fit for him, because I don't think he makes it past the Texans.
No,
the Texans need another guy.
Oh yeah,
and they've tried to patch up the offensive line as best they could with those band-aids they got, but they need another weapon over there besides Nico.
Yeah, because I don't think Dell's coming back.
No,
that would be a nice.
How about
that would be a nice.
How about 17 to Cincinnati?
Well, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight.
I crap my pants. That happened.
I appreciate everybody joining us this evening for our best player to team fits. We are going to go
rookie fit.
We are going to go on the notion that a wide receiver is going to be drafted to the Bengals at this time.
But
you know what? It's not too far fetched. They might do that because Jermaine Burton. That just a complete failure right there.
Hey, why not?
I mean, yeah, sure. The Bengals score. We're going to have to score 60 points a game now.
They don't care about defense. Yes, they don't care about defense.
But that high though, Matthew Golden.
Yeah, 17.
At 17, why not?
What about Luther Burden? Maybe that's the wide receiver that they need.
I can see them taking Luther Burden.
Someone that's not gonna have to run a lot of routes.
I can see them.
Right? We all know that they've got dudes that
I am always skeptical
of.
Right. I am always skeptical when it comes to teams who pay players
And
Yeah.
Am I good? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're good. Go
Yeah.
finish up.
I'm always skeptical of teams who play players that they didn't want to initially pay.
Okay, that's understandable.
well, and actually, if you think about, because T Higgins' freaking contract,
Well, yeah. Wait a minute. Wait. So, are you going to put both of them? You're going to put Chase and Higgins together with that, or just Higgins? Skeptical.
That's a good point.
No, it's
That's
just
a good
Higgins.
point.
Because Chase, they wanted to pay Chase. They always wanted to keep Chase.
It took them 5 years.
But did they want to pay him? Because I mean,
Did they want to pay him that amount?
yeah,
I could kind of see it with Higgins, but based on that logic, that rationalization, it's almost like, well,
No, they definitely didn't want to pay him that amount.
let's Matthew Golden's going to be most likely a round 1 NFL draft pick. I'm going to say that he's probably going to be a Dynasty rookie round 1 draft pick. That leads us to Luther Burden. The more I'm thinking about it, and I just came up with it about 2 minutes ago, because Randy brought up the Bengals. If they were to draft a wide receiver, this dude makes the most sense. He makes the absolute most sense, because the knock on him is that he does not run all the routes. That he was never asked to run all the routes.
Right.
So therefore he doesn't know all the routes. He won't have to on the Cincinnati Bengals either. However, I don't see it, but that would be a great fit as far as I'm concerned. Another great fit, low key, now that I'm thinking about it, who may not have to run all the routes. The Jets need another wide receiver.
oh yeah,
They need one. They need a wide receiver too. If you want to do this gimmicky gadget type of, I'm not sure exactly which routes Luther Burden excels at. You guys would be able to tell me that, but it's not all of them. I know that, but just for sake of time, let's say he could only run the slant, or he could only run the hitch. We know that Gary Wilson is running everything else. I mean, that may not be a terrible fit for the Jets. They'll definitely have an early round 2 NFL pick. Any other teams that we could think of? The Cardinals.
Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills are actually Cleveland Browns too.
Yeah, the Bills. The Bills are just aggravating.
What about, I mean, like you just said it, why not the 49ers? He would fit into the Deebo Samuel role almost seamlessly.
Luther Burden to Baltimore at 27.
No. I can't get behind that one.
I agree with the 49ers too.
Yeah, I can't get behind that one. The Ravens, they need a real
the Baltimore one?
wide receiver one. Yeah, they need a wide receiver one, man.
Yes, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, the tight end. There's not a lot of ball there. So again, it's not a matter of fantasy fireworks for a lot of these guys, especially a lot of these wide receivers. But they are going to fill some sort of positional team need. Now, for our dynasty, I mean, again, Luther Burden, someone's gonna take a stab at him and hope that it turns out. I would think he'd be an early round 2. I don't see him falling. You know, just because, like, again, he's coming in with a lot of steam. He's one of these more polarizing dudes.
Yeah,
he is.
If you hear 50% of those that are giving us this information are saying like he's like a 1 or 2 trick pony, and there's the guys like Bucky Brooks.
That's fun because I haven't seen that in what I've seen of his posts and stuff.
Well, that's why this thing is really objective, Rhino. Because I'll give you all the positives, and then I could give you all the negatives, and they're again, these are just strengths and weaknesses, totally objective. Above average foot speed, dangerous with the ball in his hands, lined up in the backfield, and threatened defenses with jet sweep options. Saw high volume of quick targets and runaway routes to give him catch and run chance. Outstanding lower body agility. Ability to stop on a dime.
Outstanding.
Weaknesses, just 10 catches of 20 yards or more in 2024. That was 110th in the FBS. Upright route running gives defenders clear target to redirect or latch onto. Needs to clean up footwork for better snap at tops of routes. Looks disinterested on some routes.
Yes, he does. That is the truth.
Yeah, fumbled against Boston College in 2024 and muffed one punt in each of 3 college seasons. I mean, I see Gary Wilson drop fumbles. He's fumbled 1 or twice each season now. That's my biggest knock with him. Gary Wilson needs to protect the ball. More a get-in-the-way blocker and doesn't consistently latch and control defenders. So, I mean, again, you got...
But a lot of that stuff is fixable.
Yeah, and that's
with the right coaching. Absolutely, yes. That's what they're saying. That's the other side of the coin. Yeah. That's the other that is the other side of the coin. That why he's got a lot of potential if he gets coached up the right way.
Yeah,
matures.
That's where my kind of like my pushback to the people who are doubting him. He almost got he's almost getting scrutinized because he decided to stay home instead of go to a bigger school, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was a 5-star prospect come out of high school. He's from Missouri, went to Missouri. He could went to Ohio State.
Yeah.
He could have went to a big school and learned all the routes. Like he's a prospect at the end of the day. No way to remember that. He's not a finished product. He can learn how to run routes in the NFL.
It was like he had the best quarterback in college football thrown to him either, you know?
No, he did not.
Not at all. So give him to Sean McVay.
He'll show how to run some routes.
Yeah.
I got 2 guys here, both from the same school.
Higgins Noel.
Hey, are you ready for the fantasy winner the fantasy league winner? Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm ready to make this declaration.
I'm listening to you.
Yeah, I'm ready to make this declaration. If Jalen Noel, if he goes to the Jaguars, he is going to be a league winner.
Ooh, I like that.
We've seen Liam Cohen attack the slot every place he's been. If Jalen Noel goes to the Jaguars, he is a league winner.
No. No.
You can't no, gotta get the Colts out of your head, man.
No.
Where? You all right? Please. Randy, weigh in. Where's he going?
No. Okay.
Give us
First of all, yes. This is definitely partially Colts bias. This is definitely partially Colts bias. Best fit. Okay, yes. I'm looking.
Say it, just like I said it, because you're like, maybe Jackson's right.
Man, it's just that some of these other teams, they already have this prototype. Oh, Denver.
Okay, no, that's a good spot.
Yeah.
I think Denver is the best fit for him.
I think Jaden Higgins would be good with Tennessee. They need a good number 2. He could turn into number 1 after Ridley's gone.
I like Higgins to the Seahawks.
Cam Ward playing Fortnite, letting us know that the 4th
he'd be a
wide receiver league is Treylon Burks. That doesn't just tell me like, okay, like you're already telegraphing that the Titans are picking you. We know this, but Treylon Burks, this guy's got no body of work other than like medicals, unfortunately. But yeah, they need a wide receiver for sure. Look, anyone I would say any one of these dudes would be a candidate for Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, to make the 3rd or 4th wide receiver off the board after Golden. Maybe it's Luther. Two college prospects probably know each other. Could get a connection together. Calvin Ridley's not getting any freaking younger either.
They could actually fit pretty much on any team. That's the thing. Wherever they go, they're going to fit. They're going to ball pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I hate to see Higgins or him on freaking the Chiefs.
I
I'll tell you
like
that.
I like let's go back to the Jets. I like Higgins' size and height
Mhm.
opposite Garrett Wilson. I think that
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. I could see Jaden Higgins playing for New England opposite Stephon. Um, I'm not totally sold that even the New York Giants are done with wide receiver. I mean, I don't care that they have Wandale Robinson and freaking Jalen Hyatt is lucky that he's still in the league, and that's only after 3 seasons. Again, we know that these dudes are going to get taken. It's a matter of where and when.
And
Dynasty.
actually, I wouldn't be surprised if because Stillhouse, the new tight end coach for the Rams, and Patty's pass game coordinator, he was OC. He was OC for both of Higgins and Noel. So I wouldn't be surprised to see if the Rams maybe make a move for one of them because the familiarity of that.
Mhm.
And both of them are burners too, and Rams need a burner other than Tutu. Tutu's good, but
Too small.
yeah.
I'd say both of these dudes are round 2 in Dynasty. Round 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
They look
Yep.
if somebody
Early to middle.
or if somebody's at the latter back of the round. You want to go? You that's the only position you need is wide receiver, and the other dudes are off the board. Then I get it.
Yeah.
Other
Do it.
than that, other than that, these guys are round 2, and let's leave off with my favorite, Emeka Egbuka.
My guy.
My guy too. I'd love to see him on the Packers. I know. Look, we know that they're looking for an alpha one, or they need an alpha one desperately. I'm not sure if Egbuka really profiles as the alpha one, but he is pro ready, where I believe it would just allow Jaden Reed to have his potential and his success that we saw, that we've seen flashes of, mostly his rookie season and then inconsistencies last season. A lot of that probably had to do with the quarterback.
He
But
he mostly played out of the slot, right? In college.
Mhm.
and here's the thing. I don't know what we're kind of projecting Egbuka as like a really solid wide receiver in the league. Who's to say he hasn't turned into a wide receiver, one of the best wide receivers?
receiver one.
He's coming
He
out
could.
of Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
easily.
it's not that right. So it's not that it's out of the question. It's just what he's profiling as right now. That's all. Always has a feel.
I could see him having a similar like path as JSN, where like he goes to a team and he's not the wide receiver one immediately, and he kind of like works in slowly as the wide receiver 2, and then by like year 2 or 3, he takes over in the room.
You think a seamless fit would be the Raiders because Chip Kelly being OC there.
Right.
Yeah, that would be a great fit.
I think a really fun fit for Egbuka would be the Lions.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Would love that.
Where he's going mocked, I don't think is necessarily a good fit. Like he seems like he's beginning mocked like to the Chargers a lot, into Denver a lot.
Chargers a pretty good fit.
I mean, he just has such great slot ability. I don't know if taking Ladd out of there to to do whatever they want to do fits for me. But I mean, like I said, they know better than I do.
The Jags too. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Another
one, another good fit. Yeah.
81.1% out of the slot in 2024.
He's what they call in that offense the power slot. Was what he was. Yeah. Brandon Ennis is playing that role this year.
And look, the dude's got a ton of strengths here. Ton of strengths. I'll give you the 3, 4, 5. I'll give you the 7 weaknesses because he's got double the amount on strengths. Solid size, strength and speed, but not exceptional in any of those areas. Physical press can slow him early in route and diminish vertical capability. His few drops were a result of thinking about first move before securing the ball. Has some wiggle after the catch, but didn't force as many missed tackles as one might expect. Needs to drop pads as a ball carrier and be more physical as a finisher. Diverse and active as a blocker, but needs to do better. Left ankle injury as a junior, which required tightrope surgery in 2023, sidelined him for 3 games and parts of others.
I mean, all of that seems pretty correct.
I know.
Yeah,
This guy's good. This guy's good.
For like his draft, like his dynasty draft value, I just think his stealing is so limited. Like I wouldn't take him in the first round.
No,
He's more of a second.
No, not at first.
Yeah, second.
Yeah, no.
Like,
yeah, he shouldn't be going in the first.
If he lands on Green Bay at the 1.12, 12th overall, I'm doing it.
Oh well, that's borderline too. That's fair.
Because again, that goes back to roster, right? Everyone's roster is going to be different. Goes back to roster settings. How many wide receivers do you have to start? How many flexes do you have? So on and so forth. So all right, I don't think he's going to start for my team immediately anyway. However, we're playing for the future in Dynasty. Did you want to touch up on 1 or 2 tight ends, or do you want to save that for some other time?
This finish up receivers and do tight ends on Tuesday.
I'm done with receivers.
Okay.
Well, how many tight ends we got?
Really gonna do that to me?
All right, go ahead.
Let's talk about Jack Beck. Come on.
Let's go.
Okay.
Talk about my guy. The white shadow. Come on.
He knew.
The white shadow.
He knew I was trying to close it up at Mbuka. I can't get anything past him. Go ahead. Where's he landing besides the Rams?
No,
give me
Chiefs. They slot for the Chiefs.
All right.
Ooh. Yeah, he'd be nice on the Chiefs.
Now, okay. Now let's talk about Mr. Besh for a second. This is like an X receiver, correct?
Yeah, this is the next majority X. Yeah, majority X.
But you can play slot the 2.
Well, that's why I'm asking, because so we're assuming that Rashee Rice is going to be good to go, or at least he'll wind up returning early this upcoming season. Whether I don't know what strength or with what legalities, but he'll be playing at some point next season. We know X Worthy is on the outside,
right? And
we know where. I mean, there's no one else.
Hollywood Brown's on the outside.
That's right.
Hollywood Brown?
Yeah.
He
They don't have a slot receiver.
Well, yeah, I also think that it would be a good move for them to get back Besh, because Hollywood Brown is essentially on a 1-year deal.
Could this dude play in the slot for the Raiders?
Yeah.
Where it makes more.
He has slot versatility.
Leave Jacoby where he is on an island.
And you have DJ Turner on the outside.
We know where Brock is. We know. Okay, now you got yourself a nice little big freaking slot.
Yeah.
I mean, what the Jets want to do, because to me he's essentially a really big wide receiver. So I know we know he can block, so I think he could fit on the Jets pretty well because they want to run the ball.
Yeah,
that's a good fit.
That's a good fit too.
That's an excellent point. The blocking. Yeah, I mean, they're gonna want to run the ball because we see what happens with Justin Fields and when he makes too many pass attempts.
Speaking of blocking, an interesting thing that I think could happen is that Pittsburgh might trade what's this guy's name? George Pickens. And they can take Besh at 21.
Nice. And Rehab for Bash.
Yeah,
I love him to death. 21.
I love him to death too, but
We haven't.
Or in the second, whatever.
yeah.
When's the last time we had a good draft day trade in the NFL?
It's been a minute.
Oh,
Good
man.
draft
You're
day
still with
trade.
Hollywood with,
I mean,
AJ Brown.
yeah.
Yep, that was
that wasn't a good trade. That was lopsided as hell.
Forget about that part. Just like a splash trade. Whatever.
A splash. I think the last one was probably the Bears. Yeah, I think draft day. Oh yeah.
Yeah, draft day.
Because I was gonna say, because I know the Bears traded for the pick that ended up getting them Caleb Williams. That was a pretty good draft trade. That was a pretty good trade, but it didn't happen on draft day.
Yeah. Something's going to happen. I think there's going to be some oh shit moments.
Overall,
Oh, absolutely.
Overall, Besh's acceleration is more build-up than immediate, and he will need to prove himself versus NFL press coverage. But he is urgent as a route runner with the ball-winning skills and competitive personality that will play. He has experience both inside and outside, and his play style is reminiscent of
Cooper Cup.
Puka Nacua.
Puka, yeah.
Close. How did you drop the ball there?
I got confused. Sorry.
No, I will agree with that. Best plays just like Puka. Like
I just sent him the video yesterday.
Oh my god! I gave it to him. I gave it to him. Ron
My bad.
Ron blew the layup.
We're on bonus time, so I gave him a lob, and it was like catch it.
White man can't jump.
block.
Ron was Russell Westbrook in OT.
Yeah.
We might get into Mason Graham. We might get into Colston Loveland. We might get into Elijah Arroyo and maybe one or two others this upcoming Tuesday. Shedeur Sanders worked out today with the Giants. We should not be reading anything into that.
No.
All right. Aside from the due diligence, the Giants are going to work out Jalen Milroe tomorrow, and Tyler Shough maybe over the weekend. That's just the way they schedule these workouts with the quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just based.
There's no better fit.
This was already predetermined. Like this wasn't like oh shit. Why don't let's get a last minute workout in with Shedeur Sanders. Maybe we'll take one. Maybe we'll take him with the third overall pick. Now, what's interesting with that also is Joe Shane went on to say that look, if they're going to take a quarterback that early with that pick, they would want it to be 100% sure that this is a franchise player, franchise quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the way he was talking was more like he said, like if I'm the general manager of any team with this type of pick this high, you want it to be a franchise player. And he goes on to say that if you start to draft based on need is where he thinks you could get into trouble. So what are you drafting based on vibes? No, you're drafting for value. You're drafting franchise players, just not a franchise quarterback. Yeah,
but you should be drafting for a need though. So like if you need a quarterback and you have a top like 3 or 4 pick, you should be drafting a quarterback. It's not saying that like, the person you draft is automatically a Hall of Famer or he's a shoo-in. He's like, he's going to be your franchise guy. But you have to, because one, you don't know when you're going to be back up to 3 or 4. So like you have to take that swing at the most important position. It's like the Niners. The 49ers drafted Trey Lance. They traded multiple first-round picks to get him. It's like, okay, Trey Lance didn't work, but they took that swing because they didn't know when they were going to get back up there. And then lo and behold, Mr. Irrelevant ends up becoming the guy to lead their franchise. So it's like nobody's giving them shit anymore about them trading all those assets to get Trey Lance because they solved the quarterback problem. But they had no choice when they were up there.
Okay, that's working under like the notion that they believed in Trey Lance. And they were wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I get taking a big swing. If they believed Trey Lance was going to be their franchise quarterback, they went all in. They emptied out the coffin. I mean, everything. And then they swung and they missed.
Yeah, but Kyle didn't want Trey Lance.
The Giants don't
That's the
have
thing. Yeah, Kyle didn't want Trey Lance.
Okay, so I mean, that conversation is most likely happening in the Giants organization right now too, right? I mean, like there might be some that are saying, "Yo, I think that this guy is that franchise quarterback," and there might be some that are saying, "No, we don't believe that he's the franchise quarterback or a guy that's going to be a Hall of Famer." But what we do know, or at least we're more comfortable in our convictions with a certain quarterback in next year's class.
Right.
Where they'll be able to, or they'll have to empty out the clip this in the same manner as the 49ers did for the quarterback next year.
Right.
So, I understand the need, but the talent has to match the position.
I
completely understand that. Yeah, and I don't think they think that. I think the NFL doesn't think that. And they're kind of making that pretty apparent by, like I said, by the visits he's taking and the way
I don't buy that either.
A little bit. I buy it because I think the film says so too.
He may wind up proving everybody wrong. We're not suggesting that.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, so, he definitely could.
One of the things that I have noticed when it comes to like around this time of year is that the initial assessments that the scouts had as soon as the season was over is usually the closest to how the draft actually goes. So when they get everything at the end of the season, they rank all of the players based on what they just saw. So like based on the most recent performances. And then as they go through the offseason, there's like, drills and the combine and all this other stuff and private workouts and all that jazz. And then people start like nitpicking at like these little weird arbitrary things. But then when you look back on it after the draft happens, you see that like whatever they originally had in the beginning is what usually ends up coming like, closer to realization, because it's like, that's all football stuff. The first analysis, but after the season's over, is all football. It has nothing to do with combine, has to do with throwing in shorts, it has nothing to do with your attitude, cockiness, or none of that other BS. It's strictly football. And I think that because of the situations that he's been in, he's been on 2 bad programs that he helped turn around. Granted, it wasn't just him, but he played a huge part in it. And the last program that he played for, he actually put up some very good numbers. Of course, there are things you can critique about his game, but it's kind of like, it's not the same talent level at all. I'm not trying to say that, but it's kind of like the whole Caleb Williams thing. It's like when Caleb Williams was coming out, a lot of people were saying that like, sometimes he holds on to the ball too long. Sometimes he takes too many sacks. So it's like sometimes his play is a little erratic. And then when he got on the Bears, he put up like 3,000 yards or something like that, but his play was still erratic. It was still like he still took one of the most sacks in the league. Granted, most of that was because of his O-line, but that's his style of play. That's how he's used to playing.
I agree.
There's no match that's more perfect than Shedeur in New York. Shedeur in the Big Apple?
No, look,
come on. Even if it doesn't work, it'll at least be fun.
It would be a good match.
Yeah.
In terms of that.
Mm-hmm.
But if they already have 2 veteran quarterbacks that they have
signed, getting paid
pennies.
One of those guys is not going to be on that roster week 1.
That they already brought in, that they already consider an upgrade at the position from last season. To now go ahead and draft Shedeur Sanders with the 3rd overall pick when they're already looking down the road.
They don't have to necessarily pick them. So 3 either. They can trade back in to pick them later rounds.
Their quarterback room is getting paid combined less than what Indy is paying Daniel Jones to compete for a starting quarterback spot. They are paying these guys pennies. And a lot of what they're paying, especially Russell Wilson, is based on game performance. It's a lot of incentives.
I know.
So I think that they brought in 2 quarterbacks to try and make it seem like they're not going quarterback. But I absolutely think that they're taking Shedeur.
Mind games with themselves.
Yeah, of course. It's what they do best.
We're gonna find out for sure, Matthew, in 1 week.
Absolutely. I can't wait.
All right, guys.
I'm excited. It's been a while since I've been this excited about a draft.
No.
Same here.
I mean, I was just it's funny you mentioned that. I'm not like I was trying to remember like last year. Like I had to have been excited, but I don't remember being this excited. I don't.
Yeah.
I
excited.
first time in freaking ever the Rams had a first round draft choice.
Well, we knew. We also. I mean,
yeah.
maybe some of it had to do with the fact that we already knew Caleb was. Well, we know Cam.
Yeah.
We knew that we knew like 3 quarterbacks were going. We knew Marvin Harrison was most likely going for. We have no idea what's happening
last year.
We have no idea what's happening after Cam Ward.
We don't. No clue.
But see,
and this intrigue.
But that's part of the point, though.
It's Shedeur with all this intrigue.
But that's part of the point, though. Right. And that was part of the point that I was trying to make earlier was that last year.
Yeah, don't do it.
No, last year we knew what the top 5 was going to be because that top 5 in that order was what was initially released when the first round of mocks were being done. When the season was over and people were putting their mocks together, that exact order is exactly what happened. That's where they went. But then people tried to like shift it around and say, well, the Bears were going to take Jaden Daniels instead. They were going to take Drake May instead. But it's like whatever the end of the year rankings are is how it usually ends up playing out in the draft.
I'm sure the class has to do with that also. The actual class.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
The prospects that are coming out, right? It's like, okay,
exactly.
we have a much stronger handle on this dude and where he is landing. Like there's no there's very little margin of error here where it's a lot larger this year, which is completely fine. It's just each class is unique. Just like every GOAT is unique.
Absolutely.
All right. Rodgers shit all over the Jets.
Do you think there's more talent in this draft, or do you think there was more talent in last draft?
I think the talent deeper in this draft.
Overall.
Yeah.
Last season.
Yeah, it was some high end luxury last year.
I think last year was good at certain positions.
And this season we've got a very strong running back class. We've got very strong offensive linemen and defensive linemen. We've got strong corners.
Tight end.
And the quarterback is just shit. Where last season
quarterback and safety are the weakest.
Last season the quarterback was very strong.
Yeah.
Right. Quarterback and wide receiver led the way last year.
All right, guys. I want to thank you very much for joining us, for being with us, for supporting us. Don't forget to please like and subscribe. We will be back next week. Probably Tuesday, definitely Thursday, definitely Friday. We will be on maybe Saturday night, if not Sunday, and early the following week, reacting to it all. And we're getting right into the freaking fantasy football season.
Woohoo! Let's go.
I want everybody to enjoy their holiday weekend, right? Holiday weekend, the Holy Father and his sons of football. And
absolutely.
Have a wonderful
God loves football. That's why it's on Sundays.
That's right.
Amen.
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 Oh, God. All right.
100% correct.
Good
Have
old
a good
Randy.
night, everybody.
Good night.
Yeah.